Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful and great day. Now, we're going to be talking about Trump here, pretty much being attacked by political means and every other stage of the fact here. And CNN kind of catches themselves in this area here. And of course, you can, if you hear that, that's the cat meowing for justice and victory amongst this corrupt nation that we're currently living in. So, without further ado, let me go through the article a little bit and trying to show you guys what's really going on in today's society, in our country, and how we need to fight back, because this is insanity. Trump's attacks a federal judge overseeing the January 6th case, just days after she sought him with a protective order and warned against using inflammatory language. She wants to be behind bars. Former President Trump attacked the federal judge overseeing his January 6th case just days after he warned him against making statements that might intimidate witnesses or impact the integrity of the trial. Judge Amy Chutkan issued repeated warnings to Trump, including referencing his terms of release during a Friday hearing with his lawyers in Washington, D.C. Trump, after her early Monday, quoting the judge, has imposed a 15-month sentence on a woman who breached the Senate chamber January 6th. Trump said the language from a highly partisan Judge Tanya Chutkan angrily sentencing a January 6th in October 2022. She obviously wants me behind bars. Very biased and unfair. I 100% agree, because they are going after this man like he is the biggest villain on the planet. It's completely asinine. Trump published all caps quotation by Chutkan as she sentenced Christine Pereira, a school occupational therapist who pleaded guilty to obstructing an official proceeding. One of the charges Trump is also facing. He posted around 1 a.m. Monday. This was nothing but an attempt to overthrow the government by people who were upset their guy lost, said Chutkan. I see the videotapes. I see the footage of the flags and the signs that people were carrying, and the hats that they were wearing, and the garb. The judge said in October, and the people who mobbed that Capitol went there in fealty and loyalty to one man, not the Constitution, which most of the people who come before me seem woefully ignorant, not to the ideals of this county, and not to be the principles of democracy. Its blind loyalty to one person, by the way, remains free to this day. The judge also said she believed Pereira was sincere in her regret. Before sentencing, she wrote the court, "I do not like it when people break the law or take the law into their own hands. You don't want people out there acting like morons. I was one of those morons. I caused great harm to others, and it caused a ripple effect that they could never undo." Because you're forcing her to say this, by the way, Chutkan. You're forcing to say this. Her to say this. Because, obviously, when your life is on the line and there's only one way out to get less sentencing and less problems for you, you're going to take the least pushback effective way out. Not everybody is capable of doing this, and you're the evil person that is allowing this to happen, forcing people to put into this type of way. Trump is the only one to fight against your corruption, your evil tree, and you do not deserve to be anywhere near a judge case at all, a judge seat. You deserve to be reprimanded, you deserve to be fired, and then you also deserve to be put in jail for doing everything wrong. These people are villains. They're evil. They are not part of our country. They are not part of anything that should be even associated with anything. They are evil incarnate, and that's what I will call them. Trump's blast came despite warnings from the judge that were aimed more at the comments that might taint the jury or intimidate witnesses. She went back and forth with Trump lawyer John Lauro Friday about language in her order governing materials that prosecutors must share. So ultimately, she decided to apply only to sensitive information, not to all the transcripts and materials he might receive. She also imposed terms on how he can view it, requiring him to recognize his cell phone and not view documents while having access to a photocopier. She also issued a warning to the Trump's lawyers that inflammatory statements would bring faster trial, something they appear eager to avoid. Chutkan, a Barack Obama appointee, issued repeated warnings to Trump's lawyers about him making public statements. She said she understood he had First Amendment rights, but said during a criminal trial that his desire to respond to opponents has to yield. That came as Laurel brought up former Vice President Mike Pence, a possible witness in the case, who Trump has attacked publicly amid Pence's statements that he didn't have authority to send back certified voters, as Trump claims he did. Both men are seeking the GOP presidential nomination. So yeah, we have a lot of issues here that is happening within this. And we have this from Election Wizard. Trump questioned CC Judge Chutkan, impartially pointing to a quote wherein the judge said many January 6ers mobbed the Capitol because they were ignorant and blindly loyal to one person, who, by the way, remains free to this day. He says here, the following truth is quote by highly partisan Judge Tanya Chutkan. Angry sentencing at January 6th in October 2022. She obviously wants me behind bars, very unbiased and fair. I see the videotapes, I see the footage of the flags and the signs that people were carrying and the hats that were wearing and the garb, and the people who mobbed at that Capitol were fair in fealty and loyalty to one man, not to the Constitution, of which the most people who become before me seem woefully ignorant. And here's the one thing that I have to say about this. You're saying that 50,000 plus people, 50,000 people were mobbers and they were not for the Constitution. You're saying 50,000 plus people that were there were not for the Constitution. Judge, you're out of your bloody freaking mind if you think that's the case. You cannot say 50,000 people were not for the Constitution, especially when you have one man called Ray Epps saying to go after to go into the Capitol, and you have a whole bunch of people screaming no. You're a complete asinine, you're completely biased in every way forward possible, and it's disgusting that we have this judge even anywhere near our judicial system at all. Georgia prosecutors have messages showing Trump's team is behind voting systems breach. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ignore some of this here, and we're going to ignore some of this because we need to get to the crux of everything, all right? So we're going to go here about all this, right? Investigators have scrutinized the actions of various individuals who were involved, including Misty Hampton, a former Coffee County elections official who authored the letter of invitation, reference in text messages, and other documents that have been turned over to prosecutors, multiple sources told CNN. They have also examined the involvement of Trump's then attorney Rudy Giuliani, who was informed last year he was a target in the Fulton County investigation, and fellow Trump lawyer Sidney Powell as part of their probe, according to people familiar with the matter. A spokesperson for Willis' office declined to comment. The letter of invitation was shared with attorneys and an investigator working with Giuliani at the time, the text messages obtained by CNN show. So, what's this, CNN? What is this? Georgia prosecutors have message showing Trump's team is behind voting system breach. What is the breach when you have the prosecutors it says an invitation to access voting systems. It says days ahead of the January 7 voting systems breach, Kathleen Chris, an attorney working with Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and other Trump allies, shared a written invitation to examine voting systems in Coffee County with a group of Trump allies. So, therefore, what happens is that the politicians that were part of it invited Giuliani and Trump's legal team to look at this and say, like, okay, yes, you can have access to our system due to all the law and stuff like that, right? So they invited him. So what is, CNN, this breach, this voting system breach? Because what I'm seeing here is hogwash and lies in every facet way imaginable, every way. So explain this to me exactly on how he breached when they got an invitation, a written invitation to the voting systems to access them. It says here right in your own report. And we have this here as well. Coffee County election allegations could be part of foreign indictments against Trump allies. Really? Is that really the case? And then we have this here. Testimony ties Trump to Coffee County breach. Yes, but CNN obviously says that it was an invitation. So why are you guys lying here? It's almost like they're trying to lie to you. They want to confuse you and not tell you the real reality. Because, listen, a lot of idiots are not going to go down and read all the way through this bloody hogwash and reach to this part here and then go into the original invitation to access voting systems and read this. Because people are just going to read the stupid headline. That's all they're going to do. So when they see this, they're like, well, guess what? I guess Trump really did just did breach the voting system. Even though, if you go further down, it shows that, oh no, he got a written invitation to the access to voting systems, to Trump's lawyers himself. So, all these people are bloody lying in this. This is just completely asinine in every way. Of course, we have this here, that we have some ballots initially double counted in voting before recount. So, it was double counted. This is proven. So, this is the reason why. And of course, here's this is how corrupt Georgia is, by the way. At least in terms of this specific county. Georgia sheriff vows to get Trump's mugshot if he's indicted in Fulton County election case. How corrupt and how evil can you be when you have so many people wanting to go after one man that doesn't even know the full case of it all? Trump is most likely going to get indicted. Trump is most likely going to be put in prison. Trump is most likely going to fall. Because you're not going to get anything that is going to be working with this when everything is so heavily against him. It's disgusting that this is happening. It's disgusting that the way that our country is operating is through complete communism, dictatorship level rule. These people want power, they want money, and they want to rule the American people with an iron fist. And that is it. Except the majority of the American people do not like Joe Biden. But this is what we get when the media lies to the people, when the Democrats go after the political opponents, and they hate one single man because they're so afraid that he'll actually win that they have to cheat or do some type of nefarious type of ways to win the election. Or some type of way of this. Now YouTube, obviously, we're debating or whether or not this is true or not. But this is the fact of the matter is that we don't know what's going to happen. We do know that some of these things what's happening with Trump is complete insanity. And he needs to have a case to where he receives fair judgment. To where it's not a Trump judge or where it's a Biden judge, but just a judge that's been put into place. The fact of the matter is that he's getting put into either a Republican judge or a Biden or a Obama judge or Biden judge is bad because it doesn't mean it's going to be a fair trial regardless of the situation. Well, it would be more fair with a Republican one just because they seem to care more the actual other stuff because the way the Democrats are operating nowadays. But still, you're going to have issues with people saying that it's not a fair trial on either side. So we need a fair trial. And the fact of the matter is he was handed this judge specifically for all the January 6th and all this other stuff shows the incredible insanity bias and how bad this is. Hope to God that Trump makes it through. Hope to God, because our country is going into burning hellfire and we're going to have to prepare for the worst. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.